Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today we're doing another figure comparison. So, if you've been watching the channel previously, you would know that I love comparing Bandai figures up against Playmates. Here, we are doing what I want to be the final bout between their Shin Godzillas, which in this corner representing, well, I actually think they're both like international based. I think one's based in Hong Kong and the other one's based in Japan. Is that what's going on? Maybe. But anyway, yeah, they're both pretty much international based. From these two, we have Bandai, although technically one of them is from Bandai, one of them is a bootleg, this one, and the other two are from Playmates, which is their first Shin Godzilla and then their second Shin Godzilla, the reissue, essentially. We're going to be dividing this up into the 7-rounder, Sculpt Paint, Articulation, Size, Accessory, Sculpt Paint, Articulation, Size, accessories, price, availability, and packaging. So pretty much speaking, we can compare all these figures for what they're worth, stack them up once another. It's basically a 2-on-2, not like a free-for-all, because we pretty much have compared almost everything against each other except for these two specifically in comparison. But I mean, we're pretty much wrapping all of them up. Okay, my camera tripod nader. Pretty much comparing all of them together. So with that being said, let's go off with Sculpt and Paint. My goodness, this is more difficult than it determines. Now, I know, Playmates has this. But here's the thing. All of these figures bring in something of a certain style, we'll say. For Sculpt and Paint, these two have literally the exact same mold because he's copied off of him. And, you know, both of them are kind of the same sculpted details, although the sculpted details themselves might be a bit softer on this one because it is made of a different material for one. It's washed away with paint, and it's a reskin of this, essentially, just remolded in a different material. Because this is not, well, it might be made of vinyl, but it's a much harder and sturdier vinyl. This feels softer. This feels much harder. But this one does the NECA Godzilla mold, which, as we all know, the Shin Godzilla mold, basically for a brief history, they were under contract with Walmart to provide some Godzilla vs. Kong toys for the market. The movie got delayed, and then they had to scramble, make some figures, and then this is what they put out. And they had to go ahead and use the NECA Godzilla mold because they didn't have enough time to hire a sculptor, sculpt it themselves, do all the fancy schmancy stuff, and then so on and so forth. This guy is almost a 100% new sculpt from the ground up, except it uses the NECA dorsal fins and the paint applications from the Shin Godzilla, the previous one. With that being said, which one do I overall think is the best? This is actually really tough. On one hand, I would say that the application of the paint is honestly barely goes to these two. More specifically him, because while I do like the application on these two, he's missing some spots, like the claw paint. He has the claw paint, he doesn't. And even though the paint on the tail wasn't necessarily the best, here it actually kind of smushed in to the segments back here, while here on the reissue, it's just kind of... Wait, hold up. Yeah, it kind of stays the same. Yeah, it's just kind of lined on. You know, it's so obvious that they're just lines, while, you know, they're much more better paint. Okay, he accidentally kicked the Bandai Godzilla over. It's obvious that this one has it just kind of painted on like little strips. I'm not saying that these guys' paints are like leagues better than what Playmates has done. Playmates did what they could do. Although I will say this guy's dry brushing definitely does give him a fair head in the game. But look at the Bandai's. Look at that frosted glow. Well, it's not really frosted. Look at that orange glow. It looks like it's glowing, even though it isn't. And the painting, which almost looks like dry brushing, it's very scratchy, very inconsistent on a lot of figures. But on my figure, it's decently applied, and I love it. The claw paint, on the other hand, just looks absolutely nuts. It looks so sprayed on. It looks really great. Yeah, look at the spines. And the tail. The best painted tail, I think, on the Godzillas. Like, I think that this is definitely the best. And what I'll say is that even though the bootleg does have its laziness, as you can see, it's at least trying to capture what the original did. And because it's trying to at least mimic something that was good, And even though it shares the same mold, it has a very nice sculpt. The NECA had a very nice mold to it, but because of its awkward positioning, and even though it's a more dynamic pose, I gotta give this round to the Bandai's. Because even though, again, Playmates had a complete reissue, and I would say that this is hands down the better Sculpt and Paint compared to this one, again, it's kind of more at a fault with the new added and softer details, because look at this, and then look at this. You see how much detail's lost? Granted, it has more claws, but it still kind of leaves a little bit to be desired when you compare them 2-on-2. So I would say because of their better Sculpt and Paint, just by a slight margin, and this guy's paint really kicking up any slack that these two have together, the Bandai's have to win this point. Alright, next up, Articulation. Sorry for the background noise. It's quite a novelty, I'll say. It's definitely, what you'd say, odd, because here we have Shin Godzilla. Well, we're just gonna kind of go over the Bandai vinyls first. So okay, what I meant to say was the Bandai vinyls pretty much have the same posability, except he has more. How? We'll show you guys in a sec. So nothing at the head, nothing for the mouth, because it's a vinyl. Can't exactly put a hinge joint on a vinyl figure. At least I don't think you can. But here we have some swivels for the biceps, because they are the biceps. These large parts are the shoulders, so see that cut? That's a bicep swivel. And here we have some basic leg joints for the hips. All of them can rotate 360 degrees. That is it. Although 4 joints that rotate 360 degrees, not bad. No, there's nothing in the tail, even though there's obviously a glue seam, and glue seam more towards the midsection. But that's where this figure has the advantage. He, again, does not have any posability in the head, but he does have posability in the biceps, as you can see here. And he also has some much tighter leg joints than the Bandai vinyl, but the Bootleg definitely picks it up with the range and the amount of joints, because here we have an actual swivel on the base of the tail and another swivel more towards the midsection of the tail, and it's a lot more sturdier, so you can't really like push it at all. It's just kind of a basic rotation. So that's pretty much what these guys have. The Playmates double down and hands down beat it. I know I just spoiled it, but just bear with me. The original Playmate Shin Godzilla has a swivel at the head, bicep swivels, oh crap, okay, there we go, limited joints at the hips, kind of move, okay, I gotta stop hitting these things, these long friggin' tails, hip joints that go forward and back, but they can only go so far back until they hit it, and then forward until they hit like that. And it's not me. You hear that? That's literally the leg joints being limited. And of course, you got a foot swivel that rotates 360 degrees. This foot leg can kick forward about that far, backwards about that far, and it can swivel all the way around. Here's where it gets a little bit weird. Right here, we have a midsection joint. But unfortunately, because of its rush nature, you see all that white gunk? Yeah, that is the plastic grinding up against the tail segment. The tail segment here is rotating it, and I actually saw and heard stories that if you twist this part too far, then this part of the tail starts breaking open. Not a very good quality there, Playmates. Although they did redeem the quality with this. This is a clean ball joint. This actually does function as a real ball peg. Although I will say it's kind of loose. So I guess I'll give him a pass for that one in terms of the range. But this Godzilla completely almost outclasses everything. We have a hinge. Really, Matthew. A swivel joint here at the head. Arms swivel back and forth all the way around, actually. These legs are not hindered whatsoever and go a full 360. Same thing for here. Swivel joints at the legs. and a ball joint here at the base of the tail. No, there's nothing here, and there's nothing in the midsection. It is just one big ball joint that allows for some really nice range of articulation. So even though he has technically one less joint than him, he has more range. And together, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 joints for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 joints for him, so it's 9 plus 8, versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 joints for him, and 1, 2, 3, 4 joints for him. That's 6 and 4 versus 8 and 9. The Playmates are absolutely dominating this round by far. Round 3, size. This one is definitely a bit tricky, but also very simplistic. All of them are fundamentally the same size, coming in at about 6 to 7 to at very best 8 inches, although I think that even then that's a stretch. All of them pretty much stack up pretty much the same height at like default mode, although it is worth noting that he is the biggest out of all of them, but he is the longest. He and him are about close to the same height because they are slightly shorter than these two, but I mean, he's the biggest out of all of them. Not to mention, he's kind of hunched over, so if he were like looking all the way up, then he would definitely be the tallest one. But even with their tails, because I think he's the tallest with the tail kind of attached like that. Kinda, ever so slightly. But when it's, okay, crap. When it's all said and done, they're about the same height, they're about the same length, and they're about the same weight. Maybe not the same weight. I probably should retract that statement. I think he's the heaviest. Actually, it might be him. I'm not too sure. So, there you go. In terms of height, he's definitely the biggest, but it's really not much of a difference. Accessories, and none of them come with anything. No packaged joints do not count. Because he came with, both of them came with their tails disattached. He came completely unattached, and he just came with the, well, something else we'll talk about, but it's not an accessory. It's more to do with the packaging. You'll probably already know what it is, but that's kind of about it. So no one gets this point. It's a tie. So I guess in my world, everyone gets a point. So, yep, all of them get a point. Now, round 5, price. These two are about, this is tricky. He retails for about $20. He doesn't have an MSRP. Due to him being an unofficial figure, you can't really just search up Bootleg Shin Godzilla and get like an actual MSRP price. Because the whole point of an MSRP is manufacturer retail price. That's the point. He doesn't have an official manufacturer. He's just a copy of him. But I guess if you want to spend it, it'd be like around the same $20, $25, like listings on Amazon that's disguised as him. But other ones, these two were retailed for about $10, $15 at the very most. That is it. Clear cut crystal winner, $10, $15 compared to $20, $25. And even then, if you're going to be paying this guy on Hobby Link Japan, you better be ready to pay quite a steeping price for that shipping. So yes, round 5 goes to the Playmates. Round 6, availability. This one is actually kind of, I mean, okay, I do have a winner, but let's just kind of break it down. Okay, these two we're going to talk about. He is not, again, an official listed figure, and as a result, has absolutely no way of getting, like, consistently. It's mainly all disguised as Shin Godzilla figures from him. MMS, fake listings, essentially. He was released once and never sold again up until they sold this guy. Sorry, guys, my smoke detector went off. No, we don't have a highest fire. It's just, you get what I mean. It's kind of low on battery right now. I'd have to change it. But anyways, yeah. He's pretty much out of stock everywhere. And I think the most you're ever going to find this guy when you go into a store is most likely, I don't think they would ever sell this guy at Walmart or any place anymore. Would be a clearance store or like some sort of thrift store. That's literally where I only see him appearing at. He, on the other hand, is the new Shin Godzilla to replace him, because even Playmates knew that this guy was not worthy of putting up on shelves anymore, so they went ahead, redid him in a whole new sculpt, minus the dorsal fins that are still the NECA Shin Godzillas from 2016, and pretty much gave this guy like the full treatment. You know, he's in a brand new box, he's in a brand new everything, and you can just go to Target, Walmart, scoop him up. He is still in production. In fact, as I am recording this, actually, I think that's a Monster Arts. Never mind. I was about to say there's a new vinyl, but no, that's a Monster Arts Shin Godzilla coming out. But essentially, this is still running. I have seen videos of Japanese toy shelves, and he's still there. He's still on Japanese shelves, which blows my mind that it's been 6 years and he's still going, meaning he is still selling. But that being said, that's only in Japan, and we're looking at this for the North American market. So as a result, even if you want to import this guy, that's going to cost you a hefty fee with shipping, which kind of taps into price a little bit. And last time I recall, Bandai America has not gone off their lazy butts and started reissuing these guys in terms of Bandai creation figures. Like, come on guys, it's just a mild modification. Pull the tail off, package it separately, and just sell it to us. We'll buy it. But no, they have to give it up to Playmates. But so yeah, because at least you can still find this guy, and you could have found this guy at Targets, and sorry, Walmart's at one point. These two get the point. And round 7 is packaging. These two came in their own boxes, which these are their boxes, the original and then the new Toho series. Pretty much basic Bandai Creation style packaging. Open box, pretty much great. What kind of packaging do these guys come with? He comes with a tag. He just kind of comes in like, at least mine came in like a clear packaging. Like it wasn't blister or anything. It was just kind of and not really an envelope either. It was kind of like an envelope, even though it wasn't. So yeah, he doesn't really have a signature type of packaging. He does, and it's just a little tag. But I think if you're going to be collecting these things, I overall think, again, the better style packaging would definitely be these two, because they are open box, yes, but that just allows for a bit of more kind of half and half. You know, in-box collectors and out-of-box collectors can be happy with that either way, so not to mention it makes a pretty good style, diorama style. So point goes to the Shin Godzillas from Playmates. And so we have officially come to the end. And let's tally up the points. Sculpt Paint went to these two. Articulation went to these two. Size and accessories went to a tie point. Price went to the Playmates. Availability went to the Playmates. And the packaging went to the Playmates. That's a 3-6 slobber knocker. Boom. Done deal. These two win. Now, I'm not saying that automatically these two are the better figures, because again, this guy's here. But these guys are not that bad. I definitely think you should probably buy this guy, even though he's going to cost you a little bit much. But still, it's amazing to see that these guys are like, you know, the best of vinyl Shin Godzillas. Now, that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, don't subscribe to the channel. Jesus loves you. God bless you all. Go out there and spread the gospel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.